Hello, dear viewers. Thank you so much for joining me today. Well, I have a few things to read on today. Now, that explosion that I saw a few weeks ago, that I knew that it hadn't happened yet. And now it has, right? On December 25th, that crazy man in Nashville. Although I don't know if I should call him crazy. I mean, I think he bought into conspiracy theories. I think he did have delusions. But let me look at this. Now, thank God, nobody died. He did not seem to want to kill people. He warned people in a recording 15 minutes before to evacuate. There were 8 people injured, went to the hospital, but thankfully they're doing well. I'm so glad. I actually read on this yesterday and I didn't upload that one because the story kept developing and more information was coming out. I hate that when it happens. All the time this happens to me. But now I feel like, okay, well, we'll read on this and the story will continue to develop. They will find out more about his motive. They've got his computers. But he was, when I was reading on him yesterday, I was like, well, he's kind of reminds me then of that. Remember that man who shot up that bar? And it was hard for people to identify his motive because he was pretty careful about not putting things on social media. So this guy is similar. But there's something about somebody knew that he was suspicious of 5G. That fits with what I was seeing yesterday, reading about him. He bought into conspiracy theories. And 3 weeks ago when I did that reading, I saw somebody buying into conspiracy theories and the misinformation, the disinformation, the QAnon stuff even, like that kind of stuff. And apparently he did buy into feeling 5G was going to control us or something. So Spirit, tell us what was going on with this guy. And I know he's around. I just see him sort of wandering, kind of confused though. Yeah, but he has a helper. There's a friend who had lived, but is on the other side trying to help him right now. But I just see him being pretty confused and in pretty dim light. But, you know, if he has anything to say. Quinn Warner? Yeah, he was really angry, actually. Okay, so what else? What else should we know about him? Yeah, I mean, I just see him expounding on his, he would do this alone in his house, expounding on his beliefs. We have the tower. He wanted to wake people up. He wanted to, he thought this was going to do more than it would. He did target the AT&T building. 3 weeks ago when I was getting this feeling like there was going to be an explosion, it was be somebody targeting media. I felt like targeting media. I felt like maybe angry with media because of all the stuff Trump said about media. And AT&T, when I heard this was at the AT&T building, I thought right away, doesn't AT&T own CNN? And looked it up and yeah, AT&T owns CNN. So I do think this man was very angry at the media. I felt like somebody, like a reporter being blown back by this. But I think that was figurative. What I saw was figurative there. His anger, because I was seeing at that time an anger and a planning. Yeah, and I was praying the whole time that it would be prevented, that it wouldn't happen. But thank God, nobody did die from this. But yeah. King of Swords. He enjoyed the planning. He had an elaborate plan. He thought he was pretty darn smart. He thought this was going to change things. He thought he was going to bring attention to something that was nefarious and corrupt, and everybody would figure it out and find it out. And it was like his shot at trying to, I think probably stop 5G, but stop the media. I feel like he was really upset most with the media for lying about things, and he couldn't trust them. 4 of coins. Huh, interesting. He wanted to hang on to his security. Okay, that makes sense, because he did try to deed his property to a woman in California who may have been the daughter of a woman that he dated, I believe. So maybe the closest thing to a stepdaughter, a child that he had. I feel like he's still concerned about her, that she gets the property. Will she? I don't think so. I think he will be liable. His estate will be liable. 8 of Swords, Lover's card. Oh, maybe I'm wrong about the nature of the relationship there. I could be. Okay. Because we just have the most basic information. All right. Well, what else should we know about this, Spirit? How much do investigators find out? Do we get a much more fleshed out story here? We have the Knight of Swords. They're really trying. 4 of Swords. Retreat. He did so much privately in his home. He did keep a lot private. But the bright light of the sun will shine upon it. Yeah, we'll find out more. We'll find out more. There's still some things that, like I saw him expounding upon his points all by himself in his house. That's how a lot of it was. It was in his own mind. So, there we go. Anything else we should know about this? Something with money. Apparently he had worked for AT&T at some point. So there was something with the security of his money. So he must have felt that was threatened, or there's something with that. That could be health too. Apparently he told someone that he had cancer, but they don't think he did. I don't know. And he has a trauma history. Okay, we have the 9 of Wands. There's a trauma history there. So this man was just spending too much time going down the rabbit holes of conspiracy theories. I kept getting that he thought this was going to do more than it did. So it disrupted internet and things in the area for a few days. But he thought it was going to do more than that. Because he thought there was something special at that building, But, the whole... remember the conspiracy theory about the basement of that pizza place in Washington that didn't have a basement? Something like there's something he was buying into that he thought was that building was more important, that building site was more important than it was. Yeah. Yeah, and somehow he planned to take himself out anyway. I thought immediately... I was thinking, oh my gosh, he was broadcasting that he was going to blow this thing up in 15 minutes, 14 minutes, 13 minutes, like that. At first I thought, well, wouldn't they have been able to apprehend him? And then I thought, oh no, thank God they didn't, because he had a detonate button he could have used. So no, they did the exact right thing by evacuating the whole area. Thank God they did. Thank God they did. The angels were there. The angels were there helping them, the first responders. Magician. Yeah, the prayers did help. And how many of you said a prayer? And how many, after I did that last video on this about the explosion that I saw coming, in comments I saw that there was comment that other readers had also seen an explosion. So I wonder how many of you all prayed. There was intervention there. Yeah, we did have people ill, though. We did have people injured. We need to remember them. Keep praying. And 5 of Cups. Regrets is not the way to go. Okay. Could it have been stopped? Probably not. There's no... He left no trace. He was not on the radar of the FBI. Nothing like that. So... there we go. I wonder who this woman is that I see in connection. I see a middle-aged woman who, roughly middle-aged, who has dark hair, you know, kind of big hair, and heavy, and a lot of makeup, or striking makeup, I should say, not natural looking makeup. Connected with this man. Oh, maybe we'll see her. Anyway, like she was a significant person to him in the past, though, I think. All right. Well, there we go. There's so many people wanting to change things. And even those that get really into the conspiracy theories, I think they're tapping into this real urgency, like there's need for change, but they're not understanding where or how or what, you know, to do about it. All right. I wanted to also look at the stimulus. Well, it's not stimulus. It's relief. The relief bill. The COVID relief bill. I had read on that and saw Trump wanting to grandstand. Just simply doing this because he wants the attention. He wants people talking about him through the Christmas break and through, you know, the weekend. He wanted people to talk about him. He wanted to look like a hero, a champion of the middle class. He wanted to, you know, divert the attention away from other stuff that he doesn't want covered. And sure enough, and I thought that he probably would sign it before the new year. And sure enough, he did. He did. Is there ever going to be anything on the $2,000 that he says he still wants? The Democrats have always wanted it. You know, as soon as he uttered the words about hanging in there for $2,000 per person, Rashida Tlaib wrote up a page to tack on to that bill, and okay, we'll make it easy for you, you know. But that wasn't going forward, was it? So any chance that's still under Trump's administration, it goes forward. Well, we have the two parties, so they have to be in balance, right? We have the Queen of Swords. There's going to be a lot of talk about that still in the news. They're going to bring that up. A little bit of good news. Okay. Well, I don't think it'll come through during his administration. No. But there may be some movement toward that. Maybe it's that they're already working on that for after Biden takes office, for him to sign. Maybe it's that. Well, and we still have the runoffs, don't we, happening in Georgia. Oh my gosh, have you all heard the crazy things the Republicans are doing over there to try to suppress the vote? In black neighborhoods, of course. In neighborhoods where there are more people of color, more people with great income disparities, you know. So they have cameras above drop boxes to make sure that people aren't dropping off ballots for persons not in their household. How will they know? How will they check this? So are they going to mark all these as, oh, well, they'll have to be provisional because we have to check that out. Is that what they're going to do? Let's see. Page of Swords. Well, they have the beginning of a plan. Manipulation. Knight of Cups. Oh. They may mark a lot of those as provisional, but that still just takes time then, doesn't it? I mean, I know sometimes the provisional ballots sort of never get counted, but I think that's when it's very clear who's won, isn't it? The Hermit. They do want people to stay away. They do want to give people the message that your vote won't count. They are hoping to decrease mail-in voting. So this is the game. We're going to discourage mail-in voting. We're going to let these things leak out that we're doing these things. And so people are afraid to do it that way. And then when it comes right down to it, they're not going to want to stand outside in line for hours to cast their vote on the day. And I don't know, Nine of Swords, they want people to worry. These are manipulations. These are manipulations is what I'm getting. Okay. The World. But there is a completion coming. You know, they can do these things and they can do these things. But, and the gerrymandering that Republicans have done far more than Democrats has happened sometimes by Democrats too. But Republicans have had far more gerrymandered districts in their favor than Democrats. So, but things are changing and they can't make that stop. Their day is done until their party gets a new direction. That sounds so final though, doesn't it? It's not like an overnight thing. It's not an overnight thing. Because, right, and they're in bed too much with big donors. There's too many big donors who, and not all very wealthy people have tried to buy politicians too much. But there have been some that have really made huge efforts to buy politicians. So let's see about, well, sure, why not? Last time, okay, so I've looked at these runoffs how many times and told you that I don't have clarity. And in the very beginning, I thought the Dems get one and the Republicans get one. But now I've been feeling more hopeful. And the last time I read on this last week, I was like, okay, it is not clear. It is not clear. There are too many things, too many moving parts here. I don't have a clear outcome. But let's see what things look like for that night. Yeah, see, I think the Republicans still may. They have too much in their apparatus, too many people working for them in that state, too much in the Republican machine there, and nostalgia. There will be some that vote, and I think it'll be for Purdue. Just wanting to keep things the way they have been. Okay, so I'm still not terribly hopeful, I guess, that the Dems would get both seats. Okay, but I still feel like, oh, there's so many moving parts to this. People need to get out and vote anyway, anyhow. Just do it. Yeah, and they are. They are. The turnout is better than it was for the presidential election. So they are. Okay. All right. Well, we'll just keep positive energy flowing that way, right? Okay. So let us see about, what else was I going to ask about? Should we just ask a general kind of question and I'm going to do a second video on the COVID, on an update with the COVID pandemic. But let's just do a general question for what we should know about this next week, because we're heading into January 6th as well, right? The day that everything is certified, and Pence has to preside over this. The election results certified on a federal level, is that it? But anyway, Pence has to preside over this, and Pence has been scarce. He's been gone. Does not want to be talking to Trump right now. What should we know about that? Cup runneth over. Yeah, it's a new era. Biden will be sworn in. But there's this gradual nature of that. In other words, keep your balance gradually, gradually. Things will be changing. Keep your balance. Okay. All right. In other words, I think Trump is still going to try to grab headlines with with schemes. Schemes. Yeah. And they don't go anywhere, though. He is tormenting those he's in bed with. He's been tormenting the Republican politicians, actually, more than anybody, because he's trying to work on them to take up his case. Ooh, hoo, hoo, hoo. See? I knew it. It was going, I always said, they are going to wish that they had voted to impeach him. They are going to wish they had. And they're going to wish they had done it sooner. Because this kind of situation, they're so worried about those Trump voters voting for them. He is going to make sure that they don't get votes from the base, that many of them do not get votes from his base in the next election. He's going to make sure of that. He's turning on them. So, not going to be helpful to them in the long run. Anything on that? They're going to have to retreat a lot. Investigations, justice. Well, this was coming. this was coming, that, yeah, there will be a lot of investigations. Yeah, they're going to try to retreat from ever having known him. Oh, I didn't work with him. Yeah. So this isn't, no matter what, it looks bad for them politically in the future, which is all right. You know, they weren't courageous. They weren't representing their constituents. Yeah. So the justice card flashed at me again, and this one on the bottom of the deck again, of course. All right. Well, I thank you all so very much. I think we should be hopeful. Biden is already leading. This, I wanted to say, I see this all the time. I started seeing that like a week and a half ago, that people have begun to talk to him. Not even try to talk to Trump. Not even try to talk to Trump's people. They're talking to Biden and Biden's people. Other countries are talking to Biden. They're already planning a more concerted kind of effort with fighting this pandemic. They're already planning that. And what's good about it is Fauci's staying on, right? So there are many who will stay on, and they can take everything that they've learned from this pandemic thus far and just start drafting the plans. And they're doing that. Okay. So I feel really, really good about that. I feel really good about that. And maybe it's all right. You know, Pence has complained that they're not getting key information from Trump's people to do the transition. And he should complain about that. Yes, he should. But I feel like he's doing even more work with other countries. And maybe that's an all right thing. You know, maybe the Trump administration doesn't have much information to give him aside from what Fauci can give him. I don't know. In any case, I think they're going to be shocked at how little was done and accomplished in those 4 years when the Biden team gets in. They're going to be shocked. Anyway, this keeps coming still up on the bottom of the deck, you guys. I have to tell you. So like 6 times. I didn't show it to you every time. It gets a little bit disconcerting. But you know what? I've been seeing flashing just as often is the Empress. And that's a new development. That's a new one. I've always been seeing this one and the Wheel of Fortune flashing on the bottom of the deck constantly. You know, the tower turning the wheel. The tower is, you know, this is the tower. We're in the tower. It's nothing to fear. We're in it already. You know, but it's bringing in a new era. And sometimes things are, you know, made more obvious through crisis. Problems are made more obvious through crisis, and they need intervention. The need for that is seen more clearly. But now we keep getting this Empress, which is really exciting, new birth kind of energy. A new nation? The changes that we'll see in the next 10 years are going to be huge. Yeah. And I do want to say 10 years because I've always heard 10 years. And that's just, it takes time. Not that we should sit on our hands and wait. Oh no, we got to pester the heck out of them, right? Use our voices. All right. Well, I thank you all so very, very much. I thank you for keeping me company on this crazy journey, this crazy year, this crazy few years. And we'll keep going. Take care. Bye-bye.